Welcome to Whiskey and Wonder.
Here we are.
Hello, everybody.
It is later than we normally record.
Way later. It is 10 o'clock in the evening, and we are just starting.
Yes,
so,
we're getting some...
oopsies.
Yeah, we've been working on some stuff. We're ironing out some details on some things that you'll find out later. So, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Megan.
We're Whiskey and Wonder. Together, we unite to make Whiskey and Wonder. Like the, what was that cartoon where they had the rings?
Planet Earth.
That was Captain Planet. But there was like a brother and a sister team that they would say
with
shape
the dragons.
They would. Well, no, she could turn into all the cool shit, and he could only turn into like something related to water. It had to be like he could turn into like a mop bucket.
I feel like there were like
that.
Dragons in it, weren't there? And they were like
they
both had black hair.
Maybe she turned into a dragon. Let us know what that cartoon was, because I remember. Was it the Wonder Twins?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Anyway, we're Whiskey and Wonder, where we unite to become Whiskey and Wonder.
Or where we review whiskey every week and teach the other something that we have wondered about. And that is who we are.
It was the Wonder Twins.
It was the Wonder Twins.
It was the Wonder Twins.
Is that who I was thinking of?
I don't know.
Nope, not who I was thinking of at all.
Oh, and they had a blue monkey. Cool. Anyway, like Megan said, we're Whiskey and Wonder, where we whiskey and we wonder.
Yep.
Check us out on social media. We're making a conscious effort to be better at social media. From this point forward, you have my word and Megan's word. We are going to do our best to be better at it. You can find all that stuff if you're watching us.
Try.
Yep. You can find all that stuff in the show notes or on the screen, where you check us out on YouTube. If you're not already, we're Whiskey and Wonder. Instagram at Whiskey Podcast. You can find us at whiskeyandwonder.com. You can find all the previous whiskeys we've done. You can find what's on our to-do list. You can find little biographies about us, some of our merchandise. You can find all that cool stuff at whiskeyandwonder.com. Reach out to us. Please reach out to us. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us topics you want us to cover. Tell us whiskeys you want us to review. If you've reviewed a whiskey that we have reviewed and you loved it, if you hated it, if you thought it was meh, let us know. Write us. Contact at whiskeyandwonder.com. Mm-hmm. And if you so choose to donate, which we appreciate everybody who has donated, we thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. Patreon.com/whiskeyandwonder or paypal.me/whiskeyandwonder. Megan, do you have anything to add to that?
I do not.
All right.
I think you covered everything.
I think I got it.
Okay.
That time without screwing anything up. Yes. It's only episode 43.
This is the first time for everything.
So as far as announcements go this week, we put a poll out on our website on the homepage 2 weeks ago. And it was just to gauge interest on a new segment. And we got 6 people that voted. And they were all yes. So we're going to proceed with the new segment starting today. What are you laughing at? Just 6 people that voted?
Yes. I would not have said 6 people.
Oh, well.
I would have said majority.
Hey,
but
I challenged you guys to go vote. Nobody went and voted, really. So anyway, 100% of the people voted for this topic, voted for this. So
this segment.
Yep. So,
okay.
If you're on YouTube, obviously I still have my beard. I will be going this Wednesday, August 4th. I have the appointment booked. I have Shelby ready to film the shaving of the beard. So that is happening this Wednesday.
I am so excited.
Well, I'm glad. I'm not. I have been putting mustache wax in my mustache, though, to try and get it to start.
To get it ready?
Curling out just to, yeah. So, as always, we are looking for guests and guest drinkers. If you want to be on the show, reach out to us. Again, contact at whiskeyandwonder.com. You can find all that stuff, how to reach out to us in the show notes, or on the screen if you're on YouTube. And also in those show notes as well. And last but not least, as far as announcements go, I will be going on vacation 1 week in August,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be gone on a Sunday. But because we love doing this and we love you guys and we want continuity, we've struggled a little bit in that department sometimes, but we want to keep this continuous, so we're going to record an extra episode or record an episode prior to
an episode in advance.
Yeah, it's not an extra episode. We're going to record in advance, and it will still come out at its regular time. It'll just be recorded, so we may not be completely caught up with current events on that one.
Right.
But other than that, everything will proceed as planned, ideally as smoothly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it goes with technology.
Don't we all?
Last but not least, as far as announcements, I touched on it earlier. To anybody that supports the podcast, whether it's by listening, sharing, telling your friends, telling your family, donating, however you support us, buying a sticker, buying a whiskey glass, we appreciate it so much.
It helps more than you know. So thank you so much for
absolutely
supporting us.
Yes, wouldn't be here without you guys.
Nope.
So, I guess on that note, we'll move on. Would you like to hit the button for the first time?
Oh my goodness. Here goes.
Don't mess up.
The open segment.
All right. So this is going to be the open segment where we just kind of chit chat for a few minutes about things that have been going on. We're, going to see what happens with it.
Yeah.
So if you are on YouTube, you see me like in an awkward position kind of looking right now. I have got poison ivy. I have had poison ivy for over 2 weeks now.
Where did you get poison ivy?
I was
where were you?
Playing disc golf. I was playing disc golf at a park near my house and threw a disc deep in the apparently poison ivy infested woods. I was wearing shorts and short socks, and it was my favorite disc. So
You had to go get it.
not even that. I proceeded to tromp around in there for about 20 minutes and didn't find it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Fortunately, somebody else found it and they called me back. Anyway, I've been living with this for 2 weeks now. I even had a doctor's appointment for something else and ended up asking the doc, hey, can you prescribe me something for this? And she's like, yeah, I got a cream I can prescribe you. No big deal. I've been putting the cream on and everything, and it's still not going
itching.
away. It's because I'm scratching it and spreading it to the point where, and this might be TMI for anybody that doesn't want to know, but I have spread it to my nutsack.
Jesus Christ.
So I have poison ivy on my balls, and that's not fun, fellas. It's not fun at all.
Well, lesson to be learned. Don't scratch. And
you say as I continue scratching.
Yeah, stop.
Oh, if I looked funny last week on the YouTube, that's why I'm scratching my poison ivy. It's all over my legs.
That
like
is
the lower part of
horrible.
my legs are now other areas. I've got it on the side of my neck too. I think I even got it on my head.
You gotta stop scratching. Like we need to put oven mitts around your hands and
Oh
tape
man,
them
I'm
on.
so glad I got chicken pox. I got the vaccine or got chicken pox when I was little. I would not handle that well. Anyway,
Mm-mm.
I've been dealing with that all week.
I mean, compared to that, I don't I don't have anything really interesting at all. I honestly
You live a boring life. It's okay.
I really do live a boring life.
No, I normally do too. I ended up at Top Golf last night. They just built a new one over here in Charlotte, and ended up there with some friends. The first Saturday I've had off, and I think I've worked 4 out of the last 5 Saturdays. I think I had 1 Saturday off in there. And it took me. I haven't picked up a golf club. I used to play golf a ton. I was never the greatest at it, but I was decent. Anyway, hadn't picked up a club in over 2 years, and it took me half of the first game. It took me about 10 golf balls to get my swing back, but then I was crushing them. Not to toot my own horn, but I was hitting a lot. Like if you've ever been to Top Golf, you know that the net is the end of the net is 210. You get a chunk of points if you hit the end of the net, and I was regularly getting it to the end of the net. So
Very impressive.
toot my own horn there.
Very impressive.
Now I'm going to the driving range one day this week.
We are all proud of you.
Yes. We need to go play golf one day.
Yeah, we do.
Do you have clubs here?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I have been playing golf since third grade. My dad ended up getting me like private lessons and everything.
Damn.
And I still am the worst golf player you'll ever meet. So.
Oh, I can change that.
Oh, I highly doubt it.
Oh, I 100. Well, I don't know. You did have private lessons.
Like, yeah, master couldn't help me. I don't know.
Master. They make it sound like he's a master swordsman or something. That's hilarious.
I am left-handed, and I golf left-handed, so I use left-handed clubs, and trying to, like, I don't know, everything I do is opposite of what a right-handed person does. So it's
What is your issue when you golf?
well, one of my biggest issue is I can't keep my arm straight. I bend it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, just keep your.
Yep, that's my biggest issue. Is
For you, it's going to be your right arm, but for me, it's my left.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. Is I can't keep my freaking arm straight. My dad says I hit the golf ball like I'm hitting a baseball.
Mm-hmm. That's that honestly, yesterday I said it took about 10 balls for me to figure out what exactly I was doing wrong. That's what I was doing. And when I was coming back, I was bending my elbow.
Yep.
Doing that.
Yep, that's exactly.
Well, then I bet you hook a lot.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can straighten it out. You just got to you know what to do, apparently.
I do know what to do.
So just do it.
Doing it is the hard part.
Nike.
Don't sue us.
Yeah, please don't. We don't have any money. We don't have much money. Anyway,
I played. Well, I DM'd D&D last night.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Really well. It was a fun session where everyone made fun of me.
Oh, lovely.
So I can do approximately 2 accents, voices.
Okay.
I can do really bad Russian.
I've heard that one. We've heard that on the podcast before.
And then I can do, and I can't do it unless I've had alcohol, and we haven't had any yet. I can do a very, very stereotypical Southern plantation owner.
I think I've heard that one before too.
You might have, but that's the only 2 things I can do. And so I made this dwarven queen sound like
Southern plantation owner.
Sound like Blanche from the Golden Girls.
Lost on me.
Well, those of you who get it, you get it.
Okay.
Either way.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Well, all right then. That's I'm glad that it went well. Nothing crazy like the last time I played.
One day
where we all ended up stuck together because of one turd amongst us. That's all I'm going to say on that.
We'll have to share that story maybe next time. That's a story in itself.
But, well, I reckon we've been on here about 14 minutes now, so that's probably good enough. People are probably tired of hearing this shit.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the
give us feedback if you liked the open segment. If you didn't like it, let us know. Yeah. Like I said,
Stop
everybody
scratching.
Everybody voted yes, so we're trying it.
Yeah. Definitely let us know if you don't like it. Don't just stop listening. Just tell us you don't like it, please.
And then we'll respond accordingly.
Yes.
And if enough people don't like it, get rid of it.
Yep.
So, onward.
Opening the bottle.
Almost just tipped my chair over there.
This week we are drinking a very requested whiskey, or a Scotch, really. And we've had quite a few people talk to us about Monkey Shoulder. So, Monkey Shoulder is a blended Scotch or a blended malt. It's apparently worded very weird, according to this website I'm reading. Let's see what their history is like, if I can pull it up.
In the meantime,
He's going to smell.
I'm
Okay.
going to smell. There we go.
In 1886, William Grant invested his entire life savings into opening the Glenfiddich distillery in Dufftown, Scotland, to make Scotch whiskey. He had been working at the Morlock distillery, but dreamed of opening his own facility one day. The first whiskey was successfully run through their stills on Christmas Day, 1887, and the successful business was launched, selling to distributors who combined their product with that of other distilleries to make blends that were popular in those days. The business was successful enough that 5 years later, in 1891, William Grant purchased the nearby Balvenie distillery and began creating his own blends, thus launching their own brand of spirits. Nearly a century later, in 1990, the Kinninvie distillery would finally join the three distilleries and become like the mix that they use today. The company remains privately held and family run, holding their own against the giants. Monkey Shoulder, the brand, was developed in 2005 to serve as a perceived demand for fun yet premium Scotch whiskey spirits. So that's a little bit about Monkey Shoulder and the three distilleries that make up Monkey Shoulder. So you've been smelling it, Tyler. What do you think?
It's very, for me, the overpowering note. It's hard to put a smell. I've smelt it before on other whiskeys.
Okay.
It's got some sweetness, but it's not like an overly sweet smell, like a vanilla. Maybe a soft nougat smell to it. But I would say the overwhelming smell is grain, some type of grain, and for whatever reason, corn sticks out to me. But I know it's not corn; it's a Scotch whiskey. It's not made out of corn.
So it smells.
I just think my grain
goes to corn.
Calibration is off. Yeah, it could just be like cereal grain or
it. And this is going to sound weird, but it smells very beer-like to me. I don't know why.
It smells bready. That's what I smell. It smells bready.
Yeah, beery, bready. Yeah.
Maybe it's like a wheat.
Yeah.
Kind of smell. It's a grainy smell.
Yeah.
The best way I can describe it is bready.
Yeah, bready. I like that. I would agree with that. That's what I'm smelling.
There's absolutely zero burn your nose hairs.
No.
Like I just got just the faintest.
Yeah, no, like
burn.
I can stick my entire face in there and inhale as deep as I can, and I'm not getting anything.
I get just a little burn if I do that, but nothing. It's not clearing my sinuses.
No, not at all. This is and I forgot to mention that I was also smelling citrus of some sort. Where you were getting nougat, I was getting.
I can see there's a hint of citrus in there.
I don't know what kind of citrus it is, but a citrus is there. All right, we are supposed to be smelling crisp, clear, malty grains, almost beery.
Wow.
Touch of lemon, no nose tickle or heavy sense of oak, just slightly sweet and round. After a rest in the glass, there is a layer of vanilla.
That sounds like we hit it pretty spot on the nose there.
Maybe we're kind of getting used to this, good at this.
43 different whiskeys later.
We're starting to get it, kind of, sometimes. Maybe we got lucky. Have you tried it yet? Oh, trying it now. Of the Scotches we've done, the very worst whiskey we've had has been a Scotch, yes. And what I consider probably the very best whiskey we've had has been a Scotch. So there's a very long chain between scotches.
I think our year-end special this year is going to be a hell of a battle because we have had some very good whiskeys this year. I will say similar, I believe it was last week where we had a whiskey that it started tasting one way and then it took a completely different route from the mid-notes on. It was either last week or the week before. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's how I would describe this one. It started one profile and went somewhere different. It's not I took one sip while Megan just took a few. And the thing I noticed is there's very little burn. And it's a very, very subtle burn.
Yes.
Lingering.
Yes. I am getting that ashy, peaty taste in the aftertaste.
Very, yeah, it's not overpowering for me though.
It's not overpowering, but it's
there.
It's there. And that I'm not a big fan of like the peat.
I got a little
taste,
sweetness on maybe a little bit of that citrus and a little sweetness on the tip of my tongue. And then a little bit more sweetness on the back end, maybe vanilla-y. But the overwhelming flavor at the mid to finish is that. And for me, it's that kind of peaty, smoky flavor, but it really goes away pretty fast from the mid. And then it just leaves that very, very low burn. And I know we've said this a lot lately with several whiskeys that we've drank, but this is like this burn it's not overpowering, but it's lingering. So it's something that I would like to have in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It is so far. It's something like when I go out in my garage or sit out on the porch and put my little heater on and have a cigar and a whiskey. That's what, I think that would be ideal.
So the flavors I'm getting, other than that like peat finish, the initial like hit on the tongue is definitely like a real quick flash of something sweet or sugary.
Mm-hmm.
The mid for me is very sour. It's like a warhead or like licking a lemon. I'm getting it's making like my mouth pucker anytime I'm like hitting that mid. And I don't know why. But it's definitely like a lemony, warheady sourness there. That it makes my cheeks hurt.
I'm not really getting maybe if I really try, I can get a little bit of lemon out of that, but it's not bitter. It's overwhelming in the mid to me, the smokiness. And it's a smooth smoky. I don't want it to come. It's not wolf burn cigarette
it's
ashtray.
Not licking an ashtray.
Yeah, it's not ashtray water. It's it's smooth. It's good. It's enjoyable. Whereas wolf burn, sometimes you go to like a party and somebody has a bottle of water and they leave about that much water in the bottom and put their cigarette in there. That's what wolf burn tastes like you were drinking.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
This does not taste like that. This is actually good. It's enjoyable.
Yes, it's so far enjoyable. I'm going to see how it goes the rest of the night. We are supposed to be tasting lemon peel with caramel, a slight burn that passes quickly, leaving nougat and mineral water.
The hell does mineral water taste like? Water?
That's kind of where I was like, maybe they mean like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what they mean by mineral water. Who knows?
The finish is short, supposedly.
Yeah, I would say the finish was very short. It was. The only thing that lingered was the burn, but it was very, very, like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 1.5.
It was a very mild burn.
Yeah. I get more burn from this Cherry Coke Zero.
Well, that's because Coke is extremely acidic.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess we're going to see what happens as we continue on. Tyler, is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay, then let's do...
It's time for the Wonder segment.
I'm not used to you hitting the buttons.
I know, right?
I think the one you hit earlier was the first time you've hit one of the drops. Usually I handle all that.
Yeah,
so
you do.
round of applause.
You created a monster.
I did. All right. I can live with it.
All right.
So
It's your week. What are you doing?
It is my week. And I have a running list of topics. When I think of them, I jot them down on this list. And this is one that I have actually had on the list for quite a while. And it might have come actually from a listener. I honestly don't remember where this came from. It either came from a listener or it was something I stumbled on just randomly one day. But I started researching this a long time ago. And I found the topic to be very short. And it didn't feel like I could make a whole episode out of it until I got started today. And I found a way to tie something different into it that made it worthy of a full-length episode. It's still a smidge shorter than I would like it to be, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, I'm going to teach you about the Great Smog of London.
Okay. Interesting.
Also, before we get too far started on this, I would like to point out that it is Olympic time. The Olympics are ongoing.
Yes, they are.
And normally I would have probably done something on the Olympics just to kind of try and line that up. I know a lot of people are into it, but frankly, I'm just not that interested in the Olympics. I've never been. It's not huge for me. But if you do want to learn something about the Olympics, check out episode numero uno.
Very first episode where I covered the Olympic marathon of 1904.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, it was a doozy.
If you're a new listener and you do want to check out something Olympics related, that is a great episode. And I'm still a fan of that guy. All right. So back to the Great Smog of London. All right. So on December 5th, 1952, the citizens of London awoke to a normal morning of your typical English weather. Typical winter English weather.
Okay.
Short, cold days with temperatures normally ranging in the teens at night to the 50s, sometimes high 50s during the day. During the winter, the rain can be plentiful, but snow rarely falls due to the high latitude. This particular morning just happened to fall during the middle of an unusually intense cold snap, and as most of us typically would, the citizens of London awoke and began igniting their coal fireplaces to warm their homes and businesses. As was typical for London's chilly and often misty climate, a fog soon began to form, and it quickly enveloped the entire city.
Spooky.
Ooh. Over the span of a few hours, however, fog quickly turned into yellow-brown smog as soot from the chimneys poured into the atmosphere. Since coal was being burned, let's actually talk a little bit about the types of coal and the quality of it that was being used in 1952's London.
I didn't realize there were different types of coal.
That's right. I'm going to sneak some geology into this one. I told you I found a way to extend this one out to a full episode.
Well, I thought coal was coal, so...
No, it is not. So
Okay.
To start with, there are several types of coal. It is not the same. I figure most people had
Yeah.
that. It's typically broken into 4, sometimes 5, depending on who you ask, 4 different types based on the carbon content of the coal. It's determined... The type of coal that you have is determined by the amount of heat and pressure that was active on the coal over a set amount of time. So before we get too far into it, let's just jump back, start at the beginning, and answer the question of what is coal and where and what does it come from? Any idea?
Coal is a rock or mineral, whatever the multi things pushed together are. I'm assuming it's mined. I don't know.
Well, yes, coal is mined.
I don't know. I feel like I'm wrong.
To put it simply, coal is a sedimentary rock that is brown or black and is composed of
It is a rock.
primarily carbon, and hydrocarbons. Despite it being classified as a sedimentary rock, it actually starts its life as dead plants and is metamorphosed over time into higher grades of coal through the process of coalification.
It evolves like a Pokemon.
I did not make up the word coalification. I just want to make that very clear. So there are 3 types of rocks. There's igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And realistically, coal is classified as a sedimentary rock. I don't even think it should be classified as a rock, personally. But it should be more metamorphic than anything. Metamorphic is when a rock is exposed to heat and pressure and changes slightly, which is what coal does. But anyway, so what are these 4 or 5 types of coal and how do they form? The first step in the process is peat. You may or may not have heard of peat.
I taste peat right now.
Exactly. Peat is typically used in Scotch, burning when they malt the grain, I think they use peat fires. Or they roast the grain over peat fires or something. Go check out the All About Whiskey episode, and I touch on it a little more there. So peat is actually technically not coal. But as I said, some people include it as the 5th form of coal, so I went ahead and included it here.
I would say peat tastes coal-y.
It tastes coal-y, but it's not coal.
Okay.
As mentioned, the process starts from dead plants, and the amount of pressure, heat, and time are all variables that determine what type of coal forms. You can even say there's a simple formula to make coal, which is dead plants plus heat plus pressure plus time equals coal. Not really that hard. In wetland areas or bogs, plants die. The organic matter piles up under the water.
Mm-hmm.
In order to actually turn it into coal, it's got to be protected from biodegradation and oxidation, which naturally breaks down the organic material. Typically, that comes from mud or mud piling on top of the organic material or very acidic water where the bacteria can't live that would break it down.
Is that why dead bodies decay stranger in water than on land?
What do you mean stranger?
I can't, now that I'm like actually talking, I can't remember if bodies decay faster in water or slower. It's one of the two. I think
Depends on the water source. Usually it's probably going to decay faster. I don't know. That's a great question, actually.
Faster. I listen to a lot of murder stuff.
That's a great question.
Murder. Okay, let's go.
So as mud and sediment settle and pile on top of this plant matter, it's protected from decomposition and the pressure on it. Think about the pressure of gravity and then the weight of the water and then the new mud. It's all pushing down on this coal or this leaf organic matter. This results in a loose soil-like accumulation of plant material, and this is called peat. Technically, it's not coal because it's not unified. It's very soil-like.
Is it like a dust?
No, it's like
crumbly?
soil. It's like, think about plants that are compacted to be really close together,
Mm-hmm.
but you can still take your hands and just kind of mush it apart like soil.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
That's basically literally what peat is. It's not coagulated. It's not solid.
Okay.
It's very.
Okay, then I would agree. Peat is not a rock.
It's not a rock. Yes. Peat is used for energy in places like Scotland and Finland, where it's abundant, and it's actually being created. Have you ever heard of the peat bogs in Scotland? Yeah. That's wetland
They're
areas.
making
Yeah,
peat.
They're making peat.
Interesting. I see you, Scotland, and your scotches.
Yeah. Peat is very inefficient, and it contains less than 60% carbon and more than 75% moisture. So
Let's all go solar.
not ideal. I thought about doing a topic, not this time, but maybe in the future, on the different forms of energy and why
I think that's brilliant.
each one. Your dad recommended it a long time ago, and I have it's still in my noggin, pop across. I'm still waiting for the right moment to do it.
I'm very interested in that one. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just, no, that one's coming one day, y'all. So the next step in the formation process is lignite.
That sounds like a Pokemon.
Yes, it does.
Lignite, I choose you.
What would his finishing move be?
I don't know. Is he a ground type? Rock type?
I was thinking fire type.
Grass type? Well,
What if
yeah.
it's a rock fire type?
Oh.
Oh, what if it's a ground rock fire type?
I don't think you can have 3 types.
Oh,
Can you? I don't think so.
I don't know. I thought there were some new ones you could. Anyway, that'd be a cool Pokemon. Maybe he could learn fire type moves. It'd be a ground and a
ground rock.
rock that could
that
learn
can
fire
learn
type
fire?
moves, like flamethrower
That's pretty cool.
and ember and stuff.
I like that.
Yeah, we just created a Pokemon. Come on, Nintendo, or whoever owns Pokemon.
Nintendo, you were right.
Okay. I don't know how I knew that. Anyway, the next step in the process is the formation of lignite. It's known as brown coal because, as you can guess, it's black. No, it's
You're
really,
fucking with me.
It's brown. It's brown.
I believed you for a second. I was like, wait, really?
Yeah, it sounds like some bullshit some asshole in 17 something would do. So lignite occurs when peat is, as you would guess, subjected to more heat and more pressure, which results in a solidified hard material. This is the first official form of coal. However, lignite will crumble when it's exposed to air, meaning that it loses a lot of value as a fuel and creates more exhaust when burned, more soot, more particulate matter, more, I don't necessarily want to say pollution, more of just more soot. Because of this, because it's sensitive to air, lignite must be stored properly and cannot be transported long distances. Most lignite deposits are considered to be geologically young, having formed within the last 251 million years.
Oh.
Geologically, that's young. And they're found close to Earth's surface, but can extend to 100 feet thick. It's made up typically of 25 to 30% carbon and up to 75% moisture. And it results in a low energy content. I think I misspoke earlier. I don't think peat. I said peat was 60% carbon. I think I mistyped that. I think it was supposed to be 20% carbon. Anyway, lignite can also contain, I said lignite's made up of 25 to 30% carbon and up to 75% moisture, which results in a low energy content. Lignite can also contain up to 7% sulfur, which is a relatively high amount. When high sulfur coal is burned, it can release SO2 into the atmosphere, and SO2 is a key component of smog and the leading cause of acid rain. Lignite is mainly used very close to where it's mined or when other more efficient fuels are not available. Like I said, doesn't stand up well to air and doesn't transport well because of that. In the U.S., most of our lignite deposits are located in North Dakota and Texas, with 92% of all U.S. mined lignite coming from those two states. So, that's a little bit about lignite. We're going to add a little more heat, a little more pressure, and we come to the second form of coal, subbituminous, or black ignite.
Is this what powers trains?
Well, trains are powered on fuel now. Gas.
I meant
definitely.
old time.
Old trains?
God.
No. It's estimated that subbituminous and lignite make up almost half of the world's known coal reserves. Subbituminous coal is black in color, more compacted than lignite, and has a dull luster. Similar to lignite, it also crumbles when exposed to air, but not as badly as lignite, and it contains significantly less water at only 10 to 25%.
That is a lot less.
Yes. This allows subbituminous coal to easily be transported long distances. The carbon content of subbituminous is 35 to 45%, and although it's less carbon than some other types of coal, its sulfur content is very low, sometimes as low as 1% by weight, which results in cleaner emissions when burned for fuel. It's made up of subbituminous coal made up around 44% of the total U.S. coal production in 2019, with approximately 97% of the production coming from 2 states, Wyoming and Montana. Typically, these are found more out west. Subbituminous is still considered relatively young, having also formed within the last 251 million years. And you may be curious, you're sitting there like, wait a minute, you said the same thing about lignite, same time period. What the hell? So actually, the main influential factors on the rank of coal are actually heat and pressure. Time doesn't have as much of an influence on process.
Okay.
Theoretically, you could take any type of coal, you could create any type of coal instantaneously with the right combination of heat and pressure. So time is like a secondary factor.
Okay. Neat though.
It just sometimes takes a lot of time to create that pressure.
Yep. Yeah.
And to get it deep enough in the Earth's
But if there was an
crust.
artificial way to do it,
You could do it like that. You just got to line up, graph out figure out what the right temperature and pressure would be.
That's why we have engineers.
Exactly. And chemists and scientists.
Yes.
STEM. If you take subbituminous and again add more heat and pressure, you'll create bituminous coal. This is what trains ran off of. This is the second highest grade of coal. And unlike the previous 3 examples, this is completely solidified and does not crumble when exposed to air. Despite this, it's still known as soft coal. In the U.S., most bituminous coal ranges between 100 and 300 million years old and can be found in 19 different states, but West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, and Indiana all combine to produce 75% of the total U.S. bituminous coal production. This type is typically used in generating electricity and in the iron and steel industries, and up until the 1960s in powering steam locomotives. I'm not going to get... the U.S. classifies bituminous into 3 separate categories and then further divides one of those categories into... so that there's a total of 5 categories. And it's all based on carbon content and how much energy is produced. And I'm just not going to get too deep into that. We're going to keep this simple.
Okay.
But suffice to say that high volatile bituminous is the lowest rank of bituminous coal, followed by medium and low volatile, which is the highest.
Right. I already have a question, and I feel like you're going to answer it.
Okay.
But just in case you don't, I want to go ahead and mention it. Why were trains powered by the second level coal and not the best coal on the market?
I actually didn't answer that. I didn't even have the train thing in here. I just threw that. I ad-libbed that.
You love trains.
I do, but I ad-libbed that because I don't really like steam trains. They were around long before I came around. Anyway, probably the abundance, cost.
All right. I guess I get that makes sense.
That would be...
money makes the world go round.
Yeah. Yeah. And railroads in that time were going bankrupt left and right.
I can't believe you don't like steam trains. I'm so disappointed in you.
Sorry. Didn't grow up with them. So bituminous has the largest range of carbon content. It can range from 45% to 86% carbon. It also contains the tar-like substance bitumen, which is found in petroleum. The sulfur content in bituminous coal can be up to 7%, making it also fairly harmful to burn. And finally, we come to the Mac Daddy of coal, anthracite.
It's another Pokemon.
Is it really a Pokemon?
No, it just sounds like anthracite. Like, these are like Pokemon names.
Lignite evolves into bituminous, which evolves into anthracite.
Yeah. Look,
we just created an entire Pokemon evolution chain.
There you go. Hey, Nintendo. I bet we could draw it. We'll figure out a way to make it look.
You could draw. I'll make the noises for it.
Okay, there you go. Yep. We got this.
Anthracite contains 86 to 97% carbon and is also known as hard coal. It has the highest heating value of all types of coal and accounts for less than 1% of all the coal mined in the U.S.
Makes sense why trains didn't run on it.
It's
Rare.
very, yeah, pretty much.
What's the point of it?
It's very efficient. It's very efficient, and I'll get into a little bit more of the point of it here shortly.
Okay.
The moisture content is very low, as is the sulfur content. Moisture levels are typically around 5 to 15%, and sulfur is typically around 1%. And this is all by weight percentages here. Inside the U.S., anthracite can only be found in northeastern Pennsylvania and is mainly used in the steel industry. Anthracite has a shiny luster and is denser than bituminous coal. Chemically, anthracite is the transition phase between bituminous coal and graphite. Graphite, for reference, if you don't know, is pure carbon.
That's what pencil lead is, right?
It's mixed with other things, but yes, it's made of graphite. Graphite is just pure. If you ever get a specimen of pure graphite, which I've held, and it's actually a solid lubricant. It's really weird. It's almost like it's slimy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, if you can buy it because my job uses it for like locks instead of spraying it with WD-40. You put some graphite in it and it lubricates the lock. So yeah, chemically it is the transition from coal, from bituminous to graphite, which is why it's shinier and has, more of a sheen than bituminous. If you continue down that path, you go from bituminous to anthracite to graphite, and you ultimately, if you put enough heat and pressure, will end up with diamond. What you got
Is
there?
that a graphite ingot?
Yeah, it looks.
Okay.
That looks like a graphite ingot.
Graphite ingot is on Amazon for $9.99.
And you can take that and you can write like chalk. It writes just like a pencil.
That's so cool.
Yep.
I want to feel it. It's slimy.
So, like I said, if you follow the path of adding heat and pressure, you'll go from bituminous, anthracite to graphite. Eventually, you'll end up with diamonds because diamonds are also just carbon. Fun fact, the difference between diamond and carbon is just the way that the molecules are arranged. Diamond, the chemical structure, let me get back to my notes here. Where was I? With different, stronger chemical bonds between the atoms than graphite. The chemical structure is why graphite breaks easily and diamonds are one of the hardest substances. It changes and it makes the bonds one of the most secure bonds, whereas when they're graphite, they're a hexagonal shape and it's a very weak bond, so it breaks easily. Anyway, more heat and pressure changes the molecular structure. That's what the word I'm looking for. So with all that being said, if graphite's just pure carbon, why are we not burning it instead of coal? Same with diamonds.
Well, diamonds, because of their hard structure, they can't burn, right?
Oh, yeah, it's pure carbon. It'll burn.
You can burn a diamond?
You can burn a diamond.
Like if you toss a diamond ring in the fire, it just, no more diamond?
Without the hydrogen atoms, without the hydrogen atoms bonded, because you always hear hydrocarbons, carbon doesn't ignite below 400 degrees Celsius, which is 752 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Fire does not get that hot normally. You have to do special.
I actually really tried really hard. I looked for like 30 minutes on this, trying to find the amount of energy released from burning graphite or diamond so that you could compare it to the energy released from burning coal to see if it was worth it. But I couldn't find any information on how much energy burning graphite releases. So I'm assuming that it's not used because of the high ignition temperature and it's not
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that we've learned a little bit about coal, let's get back to London in 1952. Talk about the weather that created the other half of this mess. So I'm getting both my wannabe degrees from college. I got the geology degree. I didn't finish the meteorology one. So let's talk about the weather now. An anticyclone or a high pressure weather system had settled over the area and had created a temperature inversion. Now, we all know that in the troposphere, which is the layer of the atmosphere that's closest to the Earth's surface, as you increase in elevation, temperature decreases. If you climb a mountain, it's going to be colder at the top.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. 99 times out of 100, probably. When an inversion occurs, a layer of warm air traps a layer of cool air at the surface. And this is exactly what happened in London during this time. Once you get to the stratosphere, however, there's another inversion. And instead of the temperature decreasing with altitude, it increases with altitude.
Is that why spacecraft like burns coming back in?
No, that's just the friction of the atmosphere
Okay.
and the speed that they're at. No, but have you ever looked at a thunderstorm and you see how it kind of poofs out
Yeah.
instead of just continues to rise?
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh.
The air can no longer rise. It's hit that inversion where, because obviously heat rises, it's hotter above that, so the air
So it
starts
can't-
to sink.
Oh.
And that's what ultimately in a thunderstorm's life cycle, you have air rising upward until you hit that point. It cools and starts to sink. And when the updraft in a thunderstorm is overtaken by the downdraft, that's when the storm's life cycle peaks and it starts to die.
Huh.
In the fun fact, in the Great Plains, the reason they have such severe thunderstorms is because that these thunderstorms will go for days, is because in your typical thunderstorm is shaped like a T,
Mm-hmm.
and your updraft goes up
Yeah.
and then downdraft straight down. They cancel each other out. On the plains, the T is tilted.
Oh.
So your updraft comes in like this and your downdraft goes straight down. So they don't cancel each other out. It's tilted like this. The updraft comes in at an angle, the downdraft goes straight down, and that allows fuel to just keep feeding
Going.
into the storm.
Oh.
And that's why those storms are,
Nifty.
that's part of why they have such bad, severe weather in the Great Plains. Anyway, once you get to the tropopause, which is the top of the troposphere, and start in the stratosphere, there's an inversion and temperature begins to increase with altitude again. When you combine the two phenomena, basically what happens is a lid of warm air traps this cold air right here at the surface. Obviously, the warm air is risen as high as it can. Warm air rises. It ain't going to sink until it cools. And it just sits there. The cold air is filled in below. It's not going anywhere. In addition to all this, wind occurs when air flows outward from a high pressure system and into a low system. High pressure system is always clockwise and low pressure system is always counterclockwise. So a hurricane is an exceptionally low pressure system. So they'll always spin counterclockwise. Basically, in layman terms, when all these factors occur at once, you get a really calm day with little air movement, upward, downward, or across the surface of the earth. So, how does this all tie together? After World War II, Britain was exporting most of its anthracite and other valuable coals to help pay off its debt from the war. This resulted in the burning of lignite by British citizens. And when combined with this cold snap and no air moving, you have the recipe for disgusting air, smog, and pollution.
Gross.
Mass burning of lignite coal and automobile emissions created a smog by that afternoon, December 5th, 1952, unlike any fog that London had ever seen. As I mentioned, it was a very yellowish brown and was beyond thick. Visibility was reduced to a few feet at best, and driving became impossible. There are even some reports that say citizens were unable to see their feet.
God. No.
Yes, most transportation was shut down, including boats on the river. Is it Thames? Thames? River Thames, I think. The only transportation option that remained was the underground. They even shut down the ambulance service.
Oh no.
Because the smog was so thick,
They couldn't see anything.
nobody could see anything.
Oh
you
my
had to
God.
get yourself to the hospital. The smog was so thick that it began seeping indoors,
Oh.
canceling many entertainment events, such as, and I know this is not indoor, but outdoor sporting events, and then indoor events like concerts and movie theaters stopped showing movies because
You
they
can see the
couldn't see the
screen.
movie.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Since the smog was so thick that no one was driving, there was also no moving traffic to help thin the air either. No
Oh.
cars create breezes. Because of that, particles started settling and a slimy black ooze started coating the sidewalks.
It's disgusting.
People were literally blindly shuffling around, feeling for curbs and cracks, 1 foot at a time, trying not to slip and slide and fall down, often returning home looking like they had just worked a day inside a coal mine. And naturally, people are shit, so looting, burglaries, and purse snatchings all increased during this time because it was easy to disappear into the darkness.
Yeah, but how would they see the lady with the purse?
Good hearing. I don't know. At night, things were even worse
Oh yeah.
because
No.
the city used incandescent bulbs in its streetlights, and it didn't produce a strong enough light, so no light
Could get through.
no light was piercing it.
That's terrifying.
So these conditions lasted for 4 days from December 5th to December 9th, when finally the weather changed and the smog quickly dispersed when wind did finally pick back up. The Great Smog is thought to be, whiskey burps. The Great Smog is thought to be the worst air pollution event in the history of the United Kingdom, and it resulted in significant changes to regulation, public awareness, and environmental research of air quality and its relationship to human health. Honestly, at first, the magnitude of the death wasn't even realized. Some reports had since fog was so common in London, they didn't realize that they had an issue on their hands until undertakers started running out of coffins. And then people started realizing, oh, this is a serious issue
bad.
that's killing people.
This is very bad.
Killing a lot of people.
Oh my God.
It was originally thought that up to 4,000 people died from the event, with 100,000 more being made ill from the effects. Most people that were killed were either very young, very old, or had pre-existing respiratory problems. However, research that was done in 2004 suggests that the amount of deaths attributed to the smog was closer to 10 to 12,000 due to high mortality rates for over a year after the smog had dispersed. At the time, many of these deaths that occurred afterward were attributed to influenza. However, it appears they were actually from bronchopneumonia and acute purulent bronchitis.
Getting that shit in your lungs.
Yep. Animals were also affected. Birds were flying into buildings.
Oh.
Cattle were choking to death, which resulted in people making homemade gas masks for their cows. Afterward, in 1956, Parliament passed the Clean Air Act, which restricted the burning of coal in urban areas, and it allowed for local councils to set up smoke-free zones. The city also began working to switch its primary heating source away from coal, but ultimately that took many years to take effect, and they had multiple smaller smog events that occurred, but none were ever near the scale of the Great London Smog of 1952.
Oh my goodness gracious. That is terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, just breathing that in. I can't. Ugh.
I saw one thing that mentioned masks and how there were very few people that were able to get masks because you basically had to know a chemist to get a mask that would protect you. But yeah, you were just there to breathe it in. And apparently it was It was very bad on smokers, which was very common,
In the
especially
50s.
among men of the 1950s. So, other than that, that's all I have on it. Like I said, I had to it was a short topic, so I had to put in some information on coal and why the coal.
I definitely learned a lot. I had no idea really anything you talked about
so
today.
I just kind of sandwiched a couple things together there to make this a full episode.
That was neat. I actually really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad. I hope everybody out there enjoyed it. I guess we're going to move on. Let me pull my schedule back up here. And we're going to move into this one.
Trivia with Tyler.
Now, as you guys know, if you're a new listener, you're about to find out. We do this Trivia with Tyler segment every week. And we also, the Wonder segment, we have the other person, whoever's not presenting, has no idea what the topic's going to be.
No, we don't know what the other person is doing until we're sitting here recording.
Yeah, we're just
You
as
learn
surprised.
when we learn.
Yeah, you're just as surprised. So I mentioned to Megan earlier that my Tyler nugget today is a little morbid. And then she goes, "Oh no, is your topic morbid too?" So was my topic morbid? I don't think it was, but
I mean, you
kinda.
You like glanced, you like skidded over the morbidness.
Okay, I like grazed it as I curved past. Okay.
Yeah, like
I can live
overall,
with
that topic is an incredibly morbid topic because of its after effects. But
Yeah.
you kind of like the after effects were like, ching, all right, we're done.
Yeah. So there just wasn't that much information
Yeah.
on him. So, all right. So today's little Tyler nugget: veterinarians kill themselves at rates of 2.5 to 3.5 times the general population, due in part to online trolling and threats from pet owners who blame them for the death of a pet, and the fact that they have easy access to lethal medicines.
That is very sad.
That is sad.
And I did know that actually from reading mystery novels. That's happened in some of the mystery novels I've read.
Well, on that note, I'm
yeah.
glad I didn't spoil anything this week. I do want to know what did Houston say about that? Anything?
He hasn't listened to the episode yet. And if he has, he hasn't told me he's listened to it.
Oh.
He's had a very busy week too.
Okay.
So
Well,
we're going to find out. Did I finish the story yet? No.
all right. Well,
So yeah, cool.
Final thoughts.
There is one Scotch and one Scotch only that I like to rule them all. This is gross. I don't like it. It is better if you don't swish it. If you don't swirl it around.
put some water in it. Put a drop of water. See what that does to it. I would like to take a moment while Megan's doing that to say we did not do mailbag today. Again, no mail. Please email us. You can email us at contact@whiskeyandwonder.com. You can go on the website and there is a contact us sheet. You can find
Message us on
You
Instagram,
can message us on Instagram. You can
Facebook.
message us on Facebook,
Twitter,
Reddit,
Reddit.
you name it. You can message us on it. So there's no excuse, guys. And Megan has put some drops of water in.
Oh, it made it worse.
Oh,
It made it so much worse.
oh, how is it worse? I was going to do it, but not no more.
Oh, it like it intensified the peat by like tenfold.
All right.
This is getting into like ashtray Wolfburn level.
How many drops did you put in there?
2.
I was going to do it.
Don't do it.
I was
That
going
made
to do
it
it
so
out
much
of good,
worse.
I was going to do it out of good faith because you did it, but
Oh no, don't
all right,
do it.
if
Don't
you're saying
subject
no,
yourself.
I'm not going to do it.
Oh, it's gross. Wow.
All right.
Um
Well,
it-
then strike that from the memory and
Yeah.
let's rate it based on earlier.
as I was saying before, I massacred it. It tastes a lot better if you let it sit, if you don't swish it. If you swish it, I don't know, like brings out the more uncomfortable flavors like the sour and the peat. To me, just having it sit there, it stayed sweet, or stayed sweeter. And now that I've had it with the water drops, I think I'm going to rate it higher than I was originally going to because it could be so much worse. I don't know.
Okay, give me a water drop.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I don't think it's a good idea. Don't do it. Okay, there you go. That's horrible. It's gross. It's nasty. Don't do it. Spin it together. Make sure it's all the water is all in there.
I did.
It's horrible. You ruined it. You ruined it. And we're waiting in silence.
Definitely more peaty.
Gross.
It's not.
It's not Wolfburn levels.
I was about to say you're highly misremembering Wolfburn.
No,
you over exaggerated that a lot. It's like an eighth of what Wolfburn was. It's still. I could tolerate it either way.
But would you want to?
I would not want to do it with any water, no ice. I would be interested to try it with the rocks that don't dilute anything, but just chill it. That would be interesting to me. But that would be more of an experimental thing. For me, this wasn't... it wasn't great.
No.
I definitely prefer the Glenlivet.
Yes.
For sure. I'm actually going to pull up the other scotches we've done. I want to
look at their ratings.
Excuse me.
It's a lot better if you shoot it and do everything you can for it not to not. It is a lot better if you shoot it and do everything you can to let it not touch your tongue.
So, just looking, we've done 4 other scotches, and the highest rated is the 15-year aged Glenlivet,
which
is
malt.
It is fantastic. It is delicious.
Thank you, friend Angie.
Yes, thank you so much. We're gonna have to get another bottle of that because it's gonna be in one of our.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Did you polish that bottle off?
No, I have kept it in the box and I keep it on top of the shelf, so Houston has to get it for me if I want it.
Okay, good. Ideally, I'm thinking about buying one of those.
It's
just so that I have one here
God.
in case, because I know it's going to make the end of year special.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Anyway, I'm looking at the scotches we've done and take that one out of the 4, leaving just the other 3. And I've not gone above a 4.5, and you've not gone above a 5 on a rating.
Ooh.
So,
okay,
interesting observation there.
So I have a challenge to friend Angie, who apparently knows more about scotches than I did. And I remember her saying something like she thought I would like Glenlivet because it's not peat, it's something, I don't know. Friend Angie, if you know of any other scotches that aren't a very expensive price for a 5th that still are made in the Glenlivet way, can you email us and let us know? Or
yeah, absolutely.
Like
we also, I just want to let everybody know on the website, we have a list of things that we want to try. We have a list of things that we personally wanted to try. Monkey shoulder is something that several people have recommended to me personally going back several years, and I put it on our pick. But we also have a list of listener suggestions as well. And I'm actually going to go through here. I know there's at least one Scotch on here.
I know for a fact we have Scottish listeners. So you guys need to defend your hometown.
So we've got Lagavulin on the list. We've got Johnny Walker, A Song of Ice, A Song of Fire. Both of those are Scotches. I don't expect those to be good. And you can guess which one of us put those on the list. I have the Glenmorangie 12 La Santa. I've heard that is amazing. That actually came from a listener.
Is it $100 a bottle?
50.
Oh, that's not bad.
Macallan 18. I believe that's a Scotch as well. That one is well, I see two that are $2,000.
Was that a listener recommendation?
Oh my god. Yes, that was a listener suggestion. The Macallan 18-year Sherry Oak is $350.
Oh, wow. Whoever suggested that to us, we would like a donation, please.
Well, maybe we'll get there.
Oh, my God.
Actually, wait a minute. Let's see.
That is.
The Macallan 18-year-old fine oak has been discontinued, so maybe that's what they were.
Mm.
So yeah, we do have a few scotches on here we do want to try. Oh, here's one from 1950, and they want $46,999.99 for it. Not worth. If I was a billionaire. Yeah, I found the Macallan 18-year-old fine oak, $250 a bottle. Yep. So that one might be on the wish list for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we do have some scotches on here
Wow.
that we are wanting to try. We've done a lot of. You like I said, you can go on the website. You can see those. I update that. Like I'll
Every
remove
single episode.
Yeah, I'll remove Monkey Shoulder and I'll put it on the ones we've tried. We've done a ton of bourbons just because this is America and it's easy to get bourbons.
And bourbons are the best. Scottish listeners, prove me wrong.
Well, so I want to do more ryes personally.
We have had some good ryes.
Yes, we have. You gave a rye a 10.
I did.
I want to do, matter of fact, I need to update this. I want to do the Rendezvous rye and both the ryes from High West Distillery, which I think I can officially say is my favorite distillery at the moment. I also want to do the Woodford Reserved rye. I've heard very good things about that as well. And I really like their double oak. So anyway.
Things to try.
Yep. I got to put those on the website. I will do that as soon as we finish recording. So let's get on to business.
This is going to stay in all the other Scotch ranges except Glenlivet. It's a 3. I was originally going to go with a 2, but then I put water in it and made it worse. So 3.
I agree with the statement. The water made it worse. It definitely brought out the smokiness in it. If you like that sort of flavor, I would recommend a drop of water.
Nope.
If you don't like that flavor, I would recommend not doing it. And I want to try it with the stones to see how temperature affects it. But as it stands now, as it stands neat, I hate to be bland and boring because I have rated the 4 scotches 0.5, 4.5, 8, and 4.5. I'm going with a 4.5 on this one. It's a little bit below middle of the road. I would drink it happily, have it with a cigar, but I'm not going to put any water in it, and it's not something that I'm going to probably, I don't know if I'll buy it again or not.
This is one that will not go in my whiskey cabinet at any point.
Yeah.
Unless I get it as a gift, in which case it'll be for the guests.
Yeah. I can't say right now whether or not it would go in there for me or not. I'm going to continue to drink and see. But We've got two sitting here side by side, two from the previous two episodes. Oh, I think we skipped an episode this week, actually. I think we skipped out of order as far as the whiskeys go.
Oops.
But that's
well.
okay. Originally we were trying to rotate and keep the Flaviar samplers we got every third episode, but I think we skipped it. It was supposed to be this week, but whatever. We'll get it next
It'll be
week.
next week. That's fine.
Yep. So there you go, a preview. It's a Flaviar whiskey next week. But anyway, on that note, do you have anything else you want to add?
I do not, other than follow us on social media, share us, email us, please. Our goal right now is to reach more people to get a bigger audience.
Yes, we want to grow our audience. If you know somebody
Yes.
who likes whiskey, send them our way, or send us their way. If you know somebody who is just interested in learning or just likes podcasts, or share us. It just takes a couple shares to help us grow.
It really does. So please take a minute to share us on your social medias, or send us to whoever you think might enjoy listening to us, and tell them to listen to whatever your favorite episode is.
Absolutely. And feel free, like we've said 1,000 times on here, please email us, contact us. Good, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tell us some terrible stories. If you know us in real life, you can. Well, we might censor some of the stories if it's like a terrible, terrible story. But email us stories you want us to read about us, about times we shared. Email us what you think about Scotch, what you think about bourbon, what you think about Monkey Shoulder in particular. Just whatever you want to email us about, just contact us.
And if you don't want your email shared on the podcast in mail time, say that and we won't share it.
Absolutely.
So if that's what's holding you back, then we won't share your email if that's not something you want us to make public.
Yeah, we want communication. We want to know people are out there. I can see the listens. We can tell people are listening.
We see you're there.
And we know for a fact it's not us anymore. Because I can't tell you the last episode I listened to.
Same.
So,
there are a lot of you out there.
There are.
I don't think there's that many bots that are listening to us. So
we listen. See, we actually do listen to the episode. It's just during editing. So
yeah.
There's no sense in us listening to it again just to pad the numbers.
Yeah.
But I guess on that note, tune in Wednesday. Check us out. It'll probably be on Instagram. I don't know if we're going to do Instagram Live or if we're just going to do some video and like a before and after or what. Shelby's going to film it.
I cannot get off my day job. Super sad. We tried. But
yeah,
Shelby is going to take one for the team and go in my place.
Take one for the team. I'm taking one for the team here. God, I got to walk around with a mustache for a month.
You're the one who said, hey, when we get to this many listens.
Yeah, I know. I thought it would drive people to listen more. So,
well, it worked.
I guess so. I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing it anymore. All right. Well, guys, it's been fun.
It's time to sign off. It is late. It's time to go to bed. We love you. We thank you for listening. And most of all, we ask that you don't drink and drive. Cheers.